Chapter 7. Scene: a 1940s hotel somewhere in Mexico. It is early morning, first light. Sounds of some traffic on the road. Birds are singing, donkeys are braying, and parrots can be heard squawking in the background. A balding 55-ish-year-old Anglo man, suspenders, baggy trousers, ribbed t-shirt, slippers, socks without the elastic, comes out of the motel and sees that the car has a flat tire. He shrugs his shoulders and goes back into the motel. Ethel, we got a flat. Take your time getting ready. I'm going to go out and change it. Then I'll want to clean up before we start. Okay, Jake, but be careful out there. Don't let that jack slip. Jake walks back to the car, opens the trunk. He pulls out the spare tire and the jack, puts the jack on the bumper and jacks it up a little bit, and rolls the spare around to where the flat is. He loosens the lug nuts a little bit, then goes back and continues pumping the bumper jack. He does this a dozen times or so, and then he grabs his chest and falls over dead. The camera pans to a flock of parrots flying out of a tree squawking. The camera follows the birds as they fly over the motel. Camera pans down and focuses on and goes through the door of the motel. Inside of the motel, Ethel, the clerk, and Buddy, about 12 years old, are getting ready. Ethel calls out to Buddy, "Buddy, dear, go out and see what's taking your dad so long with that tire." "Okay, Mama, dear." Buddy runs out of the room, slamming the door. The camera moves from the motel view, which takes in the motel door and car. Buddy goes running out to where the car is parked. He walks around the car and sees his father lying on the ground. He runs back into the motel shouting, "Mama, Mama, something is bad wrong with Daddy. You gotta come quick." Ethel runs out of the door to the car and she sees Jake. She begins shaking her head over and over and says, "Oh no, this can't happen. Not in Mexico. We will never get his body out of the country and they will investigate me forever. Buddy, come here. Help me get your dad in the car. Hurry. I can't let them know that your dad died." Ethel DeClerc and Buddy drag Jake with some difficulty into the back seat of the car. Then they get the door closed finally, and out of breath, Ethel takes one look, goes around to the other side of the car, picks up the gray fedora and places it on Jake's head, pulling it down over his eyes. The motel owner hears the commotion and comes out. "Senora, what has happened?" Ethel, "My husband just died. I have to leave right away." Motel owner, "You want me to call the policia?" Ethel, "Oh, no. That would not be good. We're okay. You didn't see anything, did you?" Ethel shakes her head no. The motel owner, "No, senora. You just need to hurry home, right? And I don't need the policia hanging around here, do I?" Big grin. Ethel shakes her head no. Motel owner, "Then let me help you. You need to leave soon, right?" Ethel, "Gracias." Motel owner, "De nada." The motel owner finishes changing the tire. Ethel goes back into the motel and finishes getting ready, packing bags, etc. Buddy is watching the motel owner change the tire. As he's putting the tire back on, Buddy finds the lug nuts and hands them to the motel owner as they are needed. By the time the tire is back on, Ethel DeClerc has started loading the suitcases into the car. One of them has part of one of Jake's shirts hanging out. By the time the tire is back on, Ethel DeClerc has started loading the suitcases back into the car. One of them has part of one of Jake's shirts hanging out. Ethel DeClerc pays the motel owner, thanks him, and gives him a $20 bill over the motel charges. Ethel, "Here, this is for you. We had a good night here and left early. Everything was okay. See?" The motel owner takes the money, gives a slight bow. "Senora, you're most kind. I see your husband already taking a nap. That's what I see, nothing else. Have a safe trip and may the federales leave you alone." Ethel, "May your day get better, senor." Buddy, "Let's go. We have a long ride ahead of us." Interior of the car. Ethel starts the car, navigates it through the narrow streets. Soon they are on the two-lane highway going north. Buddy, we're going to have to drive straight through now. We cannot risk stopping for the night. Can you help me stay awake? Sure, Mama dear. We will make it. I can help you. Ethel, Buddy dear, turn on the radio. It might help me stay awake. Okay, Mommy dear. Buddy tunes the radio, looking for something in English. Not finding anything, he settles on a station playing lively mariachi music. The camera moves out of car and up. The light fades. All that can be seen is the headlights of the car and the dual paths of light from the headlights. Music continues. The camera is still following the car from the air. Soon lights are seen at the border crossing. Camera backs off a little bit and then moves forward rather than down to the bright lights of the border crossing. They pull up to the outgoing border station. Outside the car at the border station, it's nighttime. Car pulls up to the border station. Guard is sitting on a wooden chair, leaning back against the wall of the station. When he sees the car coming, he sits up, runs his hand over his head to smooth his hair, straightens his tie, and stands up. As the car rolls to a stop, he is walking towards it. Mexican border guard. You're traveling late at night. Guess you want to get home. Can I see papers, please? Ethel de Klerk hands him several travel documents. He looks over the papers for a moment and then looks back into the car. Wow, you traveled the whole of Mexico and you did it pretty fast. You must have taken turns driving. Okay, now you must be Ethel. And you were Buddy, pointing to Buddy. You were young, and that Jake over there, pointing, ah, Chihuahua, he not looking so good. Maybe you better hurry him to a doctor, no? Ethel, yes, that's what we're going to do. He got really tired. We're not too far from home. Can you let him sleep? Border guard, he must be sleeping like the dead or he would be awake now. Ethel, you don't know how true that is. Border guard, well, your papers, they look good. You better get your husband to the doctor and have safe trips, senora. Thank you for visiting Mexico. Ethel, gracias, senor. Ethel starts the car, pulls out of the station, and gives a big sigh. The Mexican border guard walks back to his office and he pokes his head in the office. Hey, Hector, you should have seen that man. He sure looked dead to me, but I not want to get involved in a lot of paperwork tonight. Hector, right, amigo. It's not our problem. We go home soon. Don't want to stay all day answering questions. Camera swings from the Mexican border guards to the U.S. border guards. Ethel de Klerk drives up slowly to the station. She holds out their passports to the guard. He takes them and begins looking at them. He begins asking routinely, Ma'am, where are you coming from? Ethel, Guatemala. Border Patrol, how long have you been out of the country? Ethel, about 3 weeks. Guard continues to look at papers. Border Patrol, do you have anything to declare? Ethel, first, I'm glad to be home, and, well, I guess I need to tell you this. I couldn't tell the Mexican guards. They might have kept me from leaving. Border Patrol, he puts his hand on his sidearm. Just why might they have kept you? Buddy, my daddy is dead. He died while he was changing a tire, and we had to drive all night because we were afraid to stop anywhere. We didn't want them to keep us in Mexico, and they wouldn't let us bring Daddy home. Buddy bursts into tears. The Border Patrol looks into the window, then walks around the car and opens the door. Jake starts to fall out of the door. The border guard quickly pushes him back in the car and slams the door shut. Well, ma'am, he surely is dead. I'm not really sure what to do. We don't have that many bodies come through sitting up in the back seat. You need to pull over in that lane, and I'll have to get my supervisor. Agent points to a covered area with a table next to where luggage is checked. I'll be right back. Ethel, I was just trying to get my husband home. I don't know what else to do. Border Patrol, okay, ma'am, just pull over there, and I'll be back in just a minute. Ethel puts the car in gear and slowly drives to the inspection station. Buddy, Mama, what are they going to do? Are we in trouble? Ethel, no, Buddy, I don't think so. They've just got to check things out. In background, Border Patrol hollers out to his coworker. Hey, George, can you stay with this lady for a moment while I go get Frank? Border Patrol 2. Sure, be right over. He walks over to the car. Good evening, ma'am. Or I guess I should say good morning. Ethel, yes, I guess good morning is okay. It's starting to get light. The camera moves inside of the office. Border Patrol is speaking to supervisor. Frank, I'm not sure what to do. We got a car out there with a dead body in it. The lady claims that her husband died in Mexico and they just drove him up here to keep them from keeping the body. What do I do? Frank, well, let's go out and talk with her. Border Patrol 2 and Frank walk out to the car where Ethel DeClerc is now out of the car and standing by the open door. Frank, Ms. What is your name? BP hands Frank the passports. He looks at them, but Ethel interjects. Ethel DeClerc. Ethel DeClerc. Okay, Miss Ethel DeClerc. First of all, I'm so sorry that your husband died, but this is a sticky situation for us. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to call the police and let them fill out a report. And I'm not sure if we're going to have to give your husband entry as a person or a body. You know, we do have to get our reports right. Ethel, well, I understand, I guess. This is hopefully something you don't have to do every day. Frank, well, you're right about that. Would you come inside to the waiting room while we get the police here? Can get you a cup of coffee. Might be able to rustle up a sandwich or two. Buddy, that would be great. I'm hungry. Hungry, 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 echoes, and it becomes the bump, 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 bump of expansion strips on the highway. Fade out